All right. Let's talk RLCS. I guess I can make my camera bigger because I'm so small over here, but that's okay. We'll do that next time. Let's talk RLCS. Week 1 is in the books. We'll start with North America for this video, and then we'll move on to Europe for the next video. But we're live on Twitch, so people will be chatting. The box should be right above me as long as I didn't break it. So feel free to put your opinions in what happened over the weekend. But let's get into it. First series, Ghost versus the Pittsburgh Knights. We see here one overtime, and then Ghost wins the series 3-1. Really liked what I saw from Ghost the entirety of the weekend, where they were definitely controlling the offense for both of their series. Actually, I'm going to bring up Octane real quick for the stats. A lot of offensive pressure, a decent amount of shots per game, if I remember correctly. But let me just bring that up. But that's what I want to see out of Ghost. Like, the one thing that you'll notice on the desk a lot, my biggest pet peeve is teams that do not score. That just don't have an offense and just play defense first. Because if you look back, like, I'm probably going to actually look up stats for this, but like, I'm pretty confident in saying that if you look back at any world champion, they had to have somewhat of like a top 2 or top 3 offense throughout their entire season in order to win it, because you just you can't rely on defense to win you championships because it's just too inconsistent. Because one mistake can really screw you over. So let me look into the team stats here real quick. Yeah, shots per game. Ghost is number 2 right now in the league. They're at 8.29 shots per game, and that includes a series over Cloud9, where Cloud9 has the least shots per game because of what Ghost was doing on the offensive side at 6.33. So that's what I want to see from Ghost. Now it's just about finishing those chances a little bit more. One thing I like to see was against Pittsburgh Knights, Atomic, making some big plays on the offensive side. I think Game 3 was the aerial dribble where he scores it. And then I believe it was Game 4 where he made all 3 of Pittsburgh Knights go up for a save and made it uncomfortable for them because of the threat of Atomic, and then someone else put a goal into the back of the net. So that's what I want to see from Ghost. That's exactly what we've been waiting for like 4 seasons, it feels like. So we'll see if that continues. They obviously didn't score a ton of goals. So, there's still some things to work on. They're only at 1.57 goals, but they are at least tied for 4th with that. But I do like that they're at least getting those opportunities. And one thing I always feel like in week 1, as long as you're getting the opportunities, you might miss some shots. And I feel like that's where nerves play a factor of the week 1 jitters, where it's like your shots are a little bit off. But I would much rather that than just you getting dominated throughout a game and being on defense the whole time. Because I feel like that doesn't matter if that's week 1 nerves. That's just you playing bad. But on the other side, like if you're barely missing shots, it's very similar to what Rec did this weekend. I don't mind that. I would rather see that, and then they'll probably iron that out throughout the season. So Ghost, a great start from them. Pittsburgh Knights, they couldn't control the offensive pressure. And if they can't control the offensive pressure, they're probably going to have a hard time. So it showed right there in that series. Ghost with a 3-1, which was an upset for sure. But Ghost did look good on Wednesday in the Astro tournament versus the Big 3. So not like the biggest thing in the world, but I had Ghost, I think, tied for 5th, but I had them in the 7th place spot. So it's a good start for them, for me. G2 versus the Birds. That first game was weird. Birds go up really early. I believe there was at least 1 kickoff goal. I can't remember off the top of my head in that game 1. So G2 maybe a little bit shaky at the start, but they were down 3-0, and then they came back anyway, and they tied that game, and then they lost in overtime by Hoxer making a big play. And then the only other play where Birds had offense was Hoxer made a great play where he got around 2 players and got the pass out for a goal in game 2. Besides that, didn't really go that well. G2 on the other side, this is what I expected. It sucked because at the beginning on the desk, I really wanted to say there was going to be a sweep and they were going to average 4 goals per game. It wasn't a sweep, but they almost averaged 4 goals per game at 3.75. I did say they would score 15 goals. I thought it would be a sweep, though, when we were talking about it in our predictions last week. They scored 15, so I'm happy about that, I guess. But G2's offense looks fantastic, easily the highest in the league. And what's more insane is that if you talk about just generating offense, Chicago right now was involved at 3.5 goals per game, I believe it was. Let me check that just to make sure that's correct. Which is insane. Yeah, 3.5 goals per game. He had 2 goals per game, 1.5 with the assists. And that's nuts because no other team, like the second highest team in offense in general, 2.33 goals per game with Cloud9. So Chicago by himself is over 1 goal per game better than the next best team right now in North America. That's insane. And obviously, it's only 1 week, and you don't expect this to continue. But this is exactly what I wanted to see from G2. Like, I felt like week 1 G2 was very important because I wanted to compare G2 versus NRG going into week 2 for their matchup. And this is the G2 that we want to see. So they're looking pretty strong, and I'm getting pretty confident going into week 2 for them. Pittsburgh Knights, the 3-0 over Rogue. Knights played well, but honestly, Rogue didn't look good. Rogue didn't look good at all. They were flat-footed the entire series. It was just domination by Knights. Sure, there was one overtime. There was also just random misses across the board. A board for Rogue. Like, Crow had one where he had like 30-something boost. He comes at a net, trying to hit a half volley, just completely misses. Leaves a wide open net, and it was just, the Knights just took control. It was, like, at least 2 of the games were close while Rogue is playing that bad. That's a good sign, I guess. But Rogue can't play like that for the rest of the season. And honestly, this week could be rough. They played Ghost, who just looked extremely good in week 1 when Rogue looked terrible. That's a huge series right here. This one is ginormous because, say Rogue beats Ghost, that basically nullifies the results from Pittsburgh Knights, Ghost, and Rogue for the first 2 weeks because they'll all go 1-1 versus one another. So it'll nullify everything. If Ghost wins it, much better for Ghost. Obviously, they will at least tie the Pittsburgh Knights between those 3 teams for head-to-head results throughout the season. So extremely big game here, Rogue versus Ghost. But Rogue, I don't even want to talk about them because they didn't look great. The next series, Cloud9 versus Ghost. Very close games, 2 overtimes. There was one like 0-second goal by Ghost. That was like Cloud9 kind of messed that one up a little bit. Squishy, another big performance. This is now 3 tournaments in a row. This isn't really a tournament, but at least 1 week in RLCS where he's made probably the biggest plays for his team. So I'm looking at Squishy for the rest of the season, see how he does, because he's been really strong lately. But he made 2 solo effort plays, and every game's a 1-goal game. That's 2 games right there, just because of Squishy. So, very close series, but I thought Ghost played really well. They outshot Cloud9, which is not something a lot of teams do normally. So, Cloud9, maybe not the strongest performance, but they got the wins when they needed it, and that's the most important. They got the 3-0 sweep, the only team to remain perfect on the season in games at least, and yeah, not too much to say here, because Ghost did play really well on the offensive side. They just couldn't win these games, but I still think Ghost looked pretty strong. Moving on, NRG versus Space Station. This series was, I don't know, like NRG looked pretty decent. Justin had some plays by himself. I don't know. This series to me, I thought NRG might play a little bit stronger. Space Station came out, though, and at least competed. It was some pretty close series, but I'm still question marks about both these teams. I'm not really sure exactly where I put these teams right now. Like NRG, they're still warming up with Turbo, and they got the wins where they needed to, but I still think G2's performance was probably the best on this first week, even though they lost that first game. Like, first game, sure, was a little bit weird, but I would rather see a team lose their first game of week 1 and then just dominate than, like, what NRG did versus Space Station. It was kind of like, I don't know. It was okay. It was an okay performance. Yo, what's up, Shogun? How you doing, man? Shogun, I'm going to go back and watch some of your replay analysis because I know you did some on NA, right? Like, I have to look back, too, for some of this stuff. I want to get some of these facts straight that in some of these series that I want to look at. But we'll continue. Now we'll talk about predictions here. Let me get it up for week 2. And we're going to separate out NA and Europe for videos, probably do Wednesday and Friday. I was a little bit tired this week. Like, it really hit me, the travel. So we normally would do this on Tuesday. But I was extremely tired this week, so I couldn't get a stream in yesterday. So my apologies there. All right, let's talk about this. Energy versus Birds. Birds, I feel like their only good point. It's a long one, but I can give you the long and short privately. Oh, baby. Give me that long and short, Shogun. Give it to me all day. All right, anyway, let's continue. Energy versus Birds. Birds, they play G2. You don't expect that much out of Birds versus G2. It's the same here versus Energy. You don't expect much here, so I'm going to go Energy. Hopefully this works. Yeah, all right, Energy. I'm going to go... I'll go 3-0, actually. Like, I think Energy, it's important for them to start off strong to get ready for their G2 match at the end of the day. Ghost versus Rogue. So I know that this is going to be a classic NA series, or a classic EU series, more like it, where Rogue looks like the worst team in RLCS last week, and Ghost looks like the best of the bottom 5, and then Rogue's going to somehow come out with the win, but I can't here. I'm going to go a 3-0 for Ghost here. It's probably going to go the other way just because that's Rocket League, but I'm going to go Ghost. Like after week 1, like if you just watch week 1, there is no way that you can choose Rogue unless you're only Ray. Then you'll choose Rogue. But I'm going to go Ghost 3-0 here. Pittsburgh Knights versus Cloud9. Cloud9, if they play like they played against Ghost, this could be trouble for them versus Pittsburgh Knights, where they were on their back foot a lot. And I feel like Pittsburgh Knights is a better attacking team than Ghost is. So if they do get those advantages, then they could take down Cloud9. I do think Ghost showed that they can do that more effectively than Pittsburgh Knights last week. So I don't think that's necessarily going to happen. But I think this could be a close series. I'm going to go 3-2 to spice it up a little bit, and we'll have our first Game 5 for NA, and Cloud9 comes out with the win. Once again, I talked about it a lot on the desk. The big three are really, really good. They were at 90% win rate coming in after 4 seasons, and that doesn't even include playoffs where they're 10-1, so that'd be another 91%. They just won the last 3 games, so they're probably sitting pretty nice at 91 to 92% win rate versus the bottom 5, and I'm probably not going to pick against them very often. So Space Station versus Birds. Space Station kept it competitive versus Energy. I'm not sure if that was more Energy or if that was more Space Station. Space Station has had a lot of struggles in this offseason. But I think if Arsenal's moving... the one thing I like to see from them, or kind of like to see, is when Arsenal moves up a lot and tries to disrupt the play. The problem is I think sometimes he does it a little bit too much against better teams. I think with the Birds, you might be able to get away with that a little bit more, where you can move up even more so, because I think the Birds' offense probably isn't nearly as strong as pretty much any other team in NA. So I think you can get away with that a bit more for Space Station. So we'll see if Arsenal gets a lot of demos or just tries to do a lot of disruption plays. And I'm going to go a 3-1 for Space Station. Energy versus G2. So at the beginning of the year, I had Energy going 7-0. One, I think with Turbo, they'll get better every single week, more so than probably G2 or Cloud9, because they're going to, continually practice when he's in NA. But last week was exactly what I wanted to see from G2. I worry a little bit about G2, about it's so difficult to play the way they play consistently. But I really liked what I saw in week 1, and Energy I was a little bit on. So I'm going to go G2 here, actually. I'm going to go a little bit against the grain from what I said earlier. And I'm going to go a 3-2, because obviously we want this to go 5. But I'm going to go G2. So I think G2 looked like the stronger team in week 1. And I think if they played in like week 4 or 5, maybe I would go Energy. But because it's early in the season, I think G2 might have that advantage here. And we'll go G2 with a 3-2 win. Whoever wins this, it's absolutely huge. Like, obviously, Energy has been doing really well versus Cloud9. Turbo, I believe, said he even was like, it's hard to take down G2. Cloud9 is pretty easy. So this is a big series, because if Energy wins this, and because of their history with Cloud9, that's very likely a 7-0 season, as long as they don't screw up somewhere else. But G2, I think G2 Cloud9 could be a very fun matchup to watch. Like, I'm pretty excited about that one. We get that in, week 5. So that one could mean a lot for a top 2 spot. But I'm going to go G2 here. I think G2 will take it. And there you go. We'll have finally some Game 5s in NA. But I think the most important game probably of this group in, like, obviously, like, Energy G2, very important. So that's probably most important. But this Ghost Rogue game, Very, very important as well, because again, we don't really know who's in that bottom 2 yet for NA. Like, a lot of people think Birds will be there. We only got to see Birds versus G2. Like, I think Space Station and Birds could be a very competitive match too. But both these matches are, like, pretty important for bottom 2. Because if Ghost just smacks around Rogue, I think everyone has Rogue in the bottom 2. Like, I guess maybe versus Space Station, some people might be more confident in. But if Ghost just claps Rogue, I'm not going to be confident in Rogue for the rest of the season. Maybe even against Birds, who they play in week 3. So I would worry a little bit there. But Rogue needs to bounce back. They need to show some life, because it wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty at all. So very important series there. Yeah, but that's NA. Let me know why I'm wrong. And you guys don't have to watch, but watch anyway, because now you know the results. But you can watch anyway to watch me on the desk, because I'm beautiful, because I'm so pretty. As long as Turtle's not next to me, I'm the prettiest on the desk. But there you go. So those are my NA predictions. Thank you guys for watching on the YouTubes. Twitch chat, say bye to YouTubes. And then we're going to do Europe here in Twitch chat in a second. But yeah, that's it. Rogue will go 1-6. Only win will be C9. There you go. You heard it here first. Metro Batman. Put it in the books.